So the third example we're going to look at is we're now going to mix the navigations using that stack object. So we're going to use that stack. So we're going to add a stack, and what we're going to do here is instead of adding home and notifications directly to the drawer, we're going to add home and notifications to a stack, and then add that stack to our drawer. With that, still need button view, but I need to add another library. So we need to import create stack The fact it's not seeing that is not making me happy. It means that we may have to reinstall that library. Okay, there we go. All right, so we have our create stack navigator. So just like we did here for the drawer, we need to create a constant for stack and set it equal to our create stack navigator and essentially call the constructor. So now we can use, stack in our code. It didn't fail, so far so good. All right, so stack is going to be almost identical to drawer, except in this case, because we are creating stack as a container essentially to stick onto our drawer navigator, we don't need another navigation container. We just need to create a stack navigator. So here, we're going to create a new function. And we're going to call this one home stack. And home stack is going to have a return. And we need to create a stack or use our stack object dot navigator. So just like drawer navigator, so this is our wrapper for our stack right here. And then we need to add the screens to the stack. So just like drawer, we do stack screen. And just like the drawer, we need the name. We will give the alias, which is what we're going to use within this navigator. And we will give it the home screen. Right. And we close our screen, and then we will duplicate this for notification. All right, so now we have our stack navigator. Currently, we are not applying it here, because if we click the button here, we are still going back and forth. All right, so now we have our stack navigator. So we now need to take this stack and place it into our navigation container. So we'll replace the home screen with home stack, and we will get rid of notifications. So if we save this, the first thing you will notice is that we lose notifications from our menu, which is fine, because what we're saying here is that notifications really applies to the home stack. So you really want to navigate to notifications only from home. And so to do that, we now have home. When we click go to notifications, we now get this back button up here, which is symbolic with the stack. So we're basically saying that within the home, it's in a stack of navigation. So we're now pushing and popping the stack into the window here. So every time we click go to notifications, we are pushing notifications to the top of the stack. And when I click home to go back, I am pulling notifications back off the stack. Whereas if I click the drawer, I'm actually replacing the window or the screen here completely. It is, I'm using the drawer stack. So there's no internal navigation here. Now, since home does have a stack, when I click home, it moves back and forth within the stack. Okay, any questions on mixing of the navigations using stacks? Nope. All right. So the last example I want to show you is adding a menu button. So when we look at our application, it's not really intuitive that we have a drawer hiding over here or some kind of menu off screen. So let's add a menu button to the header of our screens. So in order to add a header, we actually need to wrap all of our screens in some type of stack. So right now, you can see here we have home up here because our home stack contains home and notifications. By doing that, by default, it will put the name of the screen at the top. So it gives us a title bar with some type of navigation for navigating our screens. However, if we look at screens or settings, you notice we don't have that title bar. So we don't have that button navigation at the top of our screen. So the first thing we want to do is we want to create a stack wrapper for settings. And all it's going to contain is settings. And then we want to replace our settings screen here in our drawer with the settings stack. So now you see we have our settings title. And what you don't see currently is we don't have any navigation. We have no back or forward buttons up here. But they are there. We just have to configure them. So for that, we need to import a few things. So the first thing we need to import here is now we want the style sheet. So now we want to add our style sheet component. Because now when we add the menu buttons, it's going to get a little ugly if we just copy and pasted styles all over the place. We still need our navigation, we still need our drawer, and we still need our stack. So the first thing I want to do is come down to my stack. So here we are, we have our home stack. All right, so in our home stack here, under our screen, so let's add some, we have our name property, we have our component property. So to modify or change the title here, we now need to add some things to the options property of the screen. So we'll do equal, and then we will create a wrapper object. And inside of our object, we're going to have a list of properties, starting with header, title. So now we will specifically state what we want to call our screen, so home, comma, and then we're going to use the header left property to define the left navigation. What do we put here for our left navigation? And since we want to actually add a button, we are going to create an object And then we are going to essentially call or inject a button. Oh, yeah. Parentheses. Oh, yeah. Sorry. Wrong tag. That. Mm, okay. Sorry about that. Squigglies and braces get confusing after a while. All right, so we have our header left option. We are defining an object. And now let's add our code. So inside of here, we're going to add a button object. We're going to add an onPress. And onPress, we're going to create an inline call to our navigation dot open drawer. So this is a new function we're calling. So where we did navigate here to navigate to a screen, navigation open drawer is going to open up our drawer here. It's going to trigger the open command when we slide over. So open drawer opens our drawer. And then let's give it a title so that we can actually know what this button is. And we'll call it menu. Okay, not done yet. Oh, yeah. I see what's about. Property. There we go. So now if I go back to home, oh look, we now have a menu button. So if I click the menu button, oops, failed, something happened. Now what's happened, and I purposely did this, is see this navigation object here. Well, inside of this function, we don't have a navigator. We don't have our navigation container. So in order for us to access this container, we have to actually pass in the navigation object. To do that, we just add it to our function call. And it will now pull in the navigation. So now when I click the menu button, it opens up our screen. So let's do this again for the other components. Oops. So call it notifications. Settings. Oops. I did not want that on notification. We want it on settings. Now, can anyone tell me why I would not want it on notification? So why might I not want to put our menu button on our notifications screen?
Why you don't want to put a menu?
Right. So why would I only want to put the menu on home and on settings? Why would I not want to put it on notification?
Oh, sure, that's something. I would say maybe because you don't, you want to be able to view your notifications so that they are not under a menu.
Pretty much. So because of how we have defined our application, we have wrapped, so we've created a stack for home. So home is actually the top screen of our stack here. So any screens that we add inside of this stack navigator should all really reference back to home or the home screen, not the menu. So essentially anything that you want to add a menu button to on the individual screens should be the same screen that shows up in the drawer. So if I click home, I should have menu, but if I go to notifications, what I should have for my navigation is return to home, not menu. And if I go to settings again, oops, to change my screen name. There we go. I'm on settings. So I can go to home this way. I can go to notifications. I can go back to home. I can go back to home. I can click the menu. There's home, menu, and settings. So you can combine multiple navigation components within an application. You just have to think through how you want to attach your screens to that form of navigation. If you are going to have a menu, if you're going to have a, what did I accidentally? That happens sometimes. You'll accidentally hit a key, save. It looks like it's working, but you accidentally broke something. That's the functions, home screen, button, title. There, I want. And under settings, we will add those here. There we go. Oh, aha. Can anyone see what I did wrong here? Why did copying this code in here break this screen? The answer is right here. We can't find the variable navigation. So while I copied and pasted the code, I forgot to inject the navigation object from the navigation container. Now by adding it, the navigation call here to open drawer works. So now the menu call works. All right, any questions on this example? So let's quickly review. So we covered the different required dependencies for using React Native navigation, and that's a tongue twister. In order for us to actually include things in our applications, we need to make sure that we've installed the React navigation library for Navigate. We need to include the drawer library, and if we want to combine different components, we need to also include things like the stack button and any other components that we need for our applications. As always, we'd like to thank you for your time. If you would love to discuss any of these topics further, or if you would like to give us ideas for additional topics to talk about, you can reach us at our email address at info@developernerd.com. You can find us on our website at developernerd.com/contact us. You can find us on YouTube by Googling DeveloperNerd space YouTube. You can also find us on Vimeo at vimeo.com/developernerd. Our goal is making every developer better. Thank you and have a great day.